Good afternoon, it's Neil. That's me. Here we go. Here's what I look like. Hooray! I read today that some people want to make money online but without showing their face. I don't understand what's wrong with people's faces. Everyone looks beautiful, don't they? Anyway, I digress. So today we are talking about starting a new business, what you need to know now. So let's me up in the corner there, and let's get cracking on. This guide is supported to you by my semi-day job, Confident Contractor, where I give all the tools and information that you need to become a confident contractor. But what if you don't want to be a contractor? What if you already are a contractor? So you got a couple of choices. You could start a business. And, starting a new business is a bit like contracting in a way. A lot of the startup steps are very similar. So I've got a couple of businesses as well that I've run and subsequently not run. So I can share some of my experience with you today. So the obvious opportunities and advantages of having your own business is being your own boss. However, that's also a double-edged sword, because being your own boss means you own the job and nobody else is going to do it for you. This isn't really a problem if you're used to working by yourself, because that's the way it is anyway. But if you're used to working in a team of people, to a large organization, and sometimes, when you go on holiday, that somebody else in the team is going to fill in for you. Well, if you're the boss, then nobody's going to fill in for you. You are the boss. But it's a great advantage. It gives you the flexibility when you can work when you want, have holidays like I just mentioned when you want, and it allows you to do, hopefully, what your passion is. But what should you do first? Well, the first thing you need to do is understand your market. Now, your market is made up of a few things. It's the coming together of the stuff that you do. What do you like doing? The actual product of your labours. Do you like painting? Therefore, you want to sell paintings. That's the product. Or do you provide a service? Again, that can be packaged up as a product. Then you have to decide on the price. Different price points. Do you think that Waitrose as a supermarket, do you think there's the same market as Tesco's or Lidl? I don't think. There's probably some crossover for sure, but they are two distinct markets. I do shop in both because I'm a complete tart, but a lot of times they're focusing their marketing and all their market research focus will be on a specific customer that they've got in mind for their product. And then there's place. Sometimes there's a geographical reach to what you do. I mean, if you're offering massage services or haircuts, then you can't really do that online. Not yet, anyway. And then there's the promotions that, the way you get your customers. Will you be using online advertising, or will there be a more personal promotion where word of mouth will spread that good word for your business around? So understanding where your market is, closely tied with the product, gives you a good standing. And then, I say, you need to understand what your target audience looks like. What else do they like? This is important as far as marketing is concerned, because if you know what else they like, then you can target those customers to come to your product. If you're selling hats for riding gear, maybe you do custom silks that sit on a riding hat. I think that's what they're called anyway. Then you know that your target market are going to like horses, probably. Why else would they want a silk for their hat? And it's quite an extreme example, but hopefully it's very clear that you can see that there's a specific person that you could target and they're going to have other interests. When you've got a more generic product, it might be a bit more difficult to identify specifically, what your market is. Tesco's, everyone needs to eat. It's a bit vague for who they can target at, but they are competitive on price. So you might see that they're looking for their target market are people who like discounts and things. Or yeah, I'm struggling. It's difficult if you've got such a wide audience. So you'll see a lot of references to niches or niches, as the Americans say. And that makes it easier to identify your target audience for your product. So what happens? Well, you need a plan to get there. Nothing happens by accident. Sometimes happy accidents happen, as Bob Ross would say, but it's much easier to get to where you're going if you've got a plan. So you want to know what your goals are, how you're going to sort of get there, what path you're going to use. And for that, we can put it together as a business plan. Is there a competitor that you can find to model some of your stuff on? I mean, if you can't find a competitor, that's a very bad sign, by the way, because if nobody else is doing it, chances are you're doing something that's not required or has a very low demand. So, surefire way of finding if something's in demand if other people are already selling it. So look at your competitors, understand what they're doing, what's their strategy, what's their marketing, what's their performance even. And you can put that into a plan. And business plan only needs to be as detailed as you want it to be. So you want there to be the fact that we want to hit these sales targets maybe. We want to address this specific need. We can see a lot of people in pain right now, and our solution fixes that pain. And to be able to articulate that really well is called packaging the product. And so ideas are good, but people don't buy ideas, people buy products. So you can put this in your business plan, and then you can say, this is who we are, this is what we do, the product, this is who our target market is, and this is how many units we think we can sell to that target market. That gives you the essences of a business plan. And then you throw in there the plan of how you're going to reach that market. That's your marketing. And so to start from something, you need a little bit of money, unfortunately. Everything needs money. Even if it's something as simple as having to deliver the product, you still need a little bit of money to deliver a product. I know somebody that makes paintings. I mentioned that earlier. But before they sell the painting, they've got to buy the canvas, they've got to buy the brushes, they've got to buy the paint in order to do that. So you've got some upfront costs to worry about. Then if you want a website, you've got to pay somebody for the website, somebody for the hosting. If you then want advertising of some sorts, be it leaflets or online ads, there's going to be a little bit of outlay for that as well. So all these little things should be in your business plan, and they will require funding up front. So what can I tell you about tips for a business plan? Like I say, it doesn't have to be super detailed. It just needs to have the high level stuff on there, and you can work out the detail later on. When I started my first business, I didn't know what mistakes I was going to make. And I didn't have a mentor, so I couldn't ask them what mistakes they made. So I did it through trial and error. But this means my business plan had something vague and fluffy, I'm going to market some stuff. But I didn't know the specifics. I didn't know which websites I was going to market to. I didn't know which printers I was going to use to print the leaflets, that kind of thing. That sort of detail can be added to your business plan as a living document as you go. So what about the legal side of things? You've got some options. As a business structure in the UK, there's kind of four main types. I'm going to cover three of them here, but I will tell you what the fourth one is. Sole trader, that's you yourself working by yourself, no staff. You do the things, you do the sales, you do the marketing, you do the delivering of the product, and you do the numbers and the accounting. So you know how much your costs are and how much you've sold and how much profit you've made. You are the everything. That's a sole trader. The next option up from that is a partnership. This is like two sole traders working together, but in an official manner. So you've got the time and materials in order to work together, and you should have an agreement about how much time and how much materials and how much money each of you are going to put in, and likewise how much money and time you want to get back out of the business. And that's a partnership agreement. The third option is limited, and this is where you have a completely separate legal entity for your business. This legal entity can enter into its own stuff. It can have its own bank accounts. It can have its own money. It's got its own tax bills. And of course, it's got its own staff. That staff tends to be you as a director. And it needs money to get started. And that money comes from the shareholders, which might also be you. Once you've got shareholders and a director, you can create a limited company, and then it can run its own money. It can apply for its own bank loans, for instance. The fourth option is a mixture between a partnership and a limited company, and it's called a limited partnership, or a limited liability partnership. That's your fifth option. Yeah, there's lots of options. By all means, ask me or a professional if you want to know more about these things. And the other thing you might be asking is, if there's more than one of you, what sort of things does a business look like? Again, you might be used to working with a bigger company where there's your boss and your team, and you've all got different things. But a business needs different things. Right at the top of the tree of the business is the chief executive officer, or chief bottle washer, as I like to call them. They got to do everything, responsible for everything. Responsible for sales, responsible for marketing, responsible for delivering the product, responsible for customer service, responsible for the accounts, responsible for paying the tax, responsible for absolutely everything. I was speaking to a business owner a couple of years ago, and they said, yeah, the paint in the car park, the lines got a bit faded away, as they do over time. So he was out there with his paintbrush painting lines on the car park. You get to do everything. Maybe you like that, maybe you don't. The next step up from that is having somebody help you with your admin, because there's a fair bit of business admin that has to happen. Whereby it's recording how many sales you've made, or sending emails, or just little bits that somebody else can help you with to free some more time so that you can make sales or deliver the product. And then after some time, you might find that you need some more help. At that point, your business might have a proper structure. Still the boss person at the top, and then that admin role might grow out into the finance and admin. And you might have a dedicated sales and marketing. And then you might have a dedicated operations. What I mean by operations is somebody that delivers the product. And so with those in there, that's the seeds of a proper business structure. The sales, the marketing, the delivering the product, and the finance and admin to make sure that everyone gets what they want, everyone pays their bills, and everyone gets paid. Of course, when you're in business, you might also be touching on other people's stuff. What do I mean by that is, so from a legal perspective, you might come up with a product name. It's your job to ensure that that product name doesn't already exist. If it does, they might come after you and say, oi, you're passing off as us. You're pinching our customers because you're pretending to be us. And they can sue you for it. And that's kind of painful. So either you're coming up with a completely unique name that you need to make sure that nobody else is using. And you'll need to do that if you want a limited company anyway, because limited companies have to be uniquely named. Or you might be entering into some sort of partnership agreement, in which case this is fine. What I mean by that is maybe you're starting a franchise. So you've already spoken to the franchise owner and you're using their name with permission to deliver their product and their idea into your area. And as long as you're doing that with their permission and you're paying the appropriate fees, everybody's happy. And again, we can provide some guidance on how to set the company up and how to file those accounts to make sure that you're compliant, you're keeping the correct records, and everything's together. Now let's just change the subject slightly to brand. So you've probably seen big brands, usually on TV or marketing, and it's where you can associate one or more products with a logo, a look, a color scheme, maybe even a tune. And those can then instill a sense of association. The reason why television advertising works isn't because somebody can reach into the telly and buy something, unless you're on QVC, of course. It's not like the internet where they see an advert and they can click through and they can immediately go to a shopping cart and buy your product. It's about seeing that brand, that association, I've heard of them before, and building up that trust. And that's what marketing is about. But you want to be unique enough to stand out from your competitors. Remember those? We said you've got some competitors and you want to be sufficiently different to them so that people remember you and your product over your competitors. And so then we come over to the marketing and sales. So we've got a brand, we've got a business, we've got a product, and now we need to tell everybody about it. We're telling everybody about, if you want this problem solved, you can come to us and we'll solve that problem for you. All with a very reasonable fee attached, of course. And we guarantee that you'll have a happy face at the end of it. That's marketing. Then you need somebody to do the actual sales. So customer rings up and says, "Hi, I'd really like a happy face and I really like this the sound of this solution you've got, and I've got this problem and I want it fixed." And you go, "Great, let me take your details, let me take your credit card number," and you make the sale. The next step on from that is, once the sale is done, somebody needs to deliver that solution to the customer. And for that you'll need operations. For some companies and businesses you'll need inventory as well. If you're selling glasses, you will need those glasses in stock. If you're selling those silk hats that I mentioned earlier for riding, you'll need those in stock. So that's your inventory. That's what you're selling to the customer. If you're a little bit more advanced, maybe you're doing embroidered hats that are customized. So when the customer orders their hat, they tell you their name or whatever the message should be, and you then need to make sure you've got the relevant equipment to embroider onto the hat, as well as having the hat itself, and then that's the product. So bringing those two things together, manufacturing from your inventory, then provides the stock that you can sell. The accountants would use slightly different words to that to describe each bit of the stage, but I'm getting too complicated, I'm sorry. So we've got the operations that are going to deliver the product or service from our inventory. But who's going to do that? Well, once you've got more sales and you can handle yourself, you'll need to hire the right talent. And hiring is very tricky. Firstly, you need to find people that can actually do the thing you're asking them to do. And secondly, and perhaps more importantly, they need to think a little bit like you. They need to have the same values. Do they want to make the happy smile on the customer's face? Anybody can just turn up at your door with pizza and go, "Ugh." But I'm sure that the pizza driver that comes to your house might be smiling at you. You never know. Makes you feel better and not so bad about them coming out on a cold wintry night to deliver warm food to you. If you can see they're having fun delivering that product, then you feel happy as well. Smiles everywhere, right? And that's about having the values and the vision, and so they know why they're doing it, the vision and the values of the company, what's right and wrong, and that moral standing ground, and why we're all here. And that then gets transferred to the customer. So that's important too. So then we come to scaling your business. We already did a little bit of scaling earlier on. We went from 1 person to 2 people, from 2 people to 4 people. And then you can scale further than that. You're either scaling because you've got more demand, which is great. And so you'll need more people sometimes to deliver that. But other scaling means you might need to start automating things. I mentioned earlier having a website. Maybe a website to take the orders will be helpful to your company. You might just need more people answering the phones. Of course, to get to more growth, you need to make more sales. To make more sales, you need more marketing. You need more people to know that they can call you to order your thing. So all these different issues then come about. How do you manage all these different people? Because people have requirements. They're not going to show up and get paid. That's very simple. They'll want a holiday. They'll become sick. And other sort of scaling issues. And websites are the same. As a website gets busier, it has other issues as well. Sometimes servers get sick. I know, they just fall over. It's very inconvenient. So you can have a plan for that as well. And it's not unsurmountable, and it's just like people. You can have 2 servers to provide the service in case one of them falls over. Once you've got 2 servers, you can provide twice as much benefit for that website. And you'll see that as you grow the business, you'll come across these little bottlenecks every now and again, and we can just work through and close those bottlenecks. And there you have it. How to create the business from that idea, know your marketing, make the sales, deliver the product, and then scale it. If all that's a little bit scary and you still think that being a contractor is a good idea, then we can help you with that as well. We got our quiz at devopscontractor.schoolapp.com, which will tell you, it will tell you some stuff, but before that, it's going to ask you some questions. It'll ask you some questions about what you know about running a business. So it's helpful to this. Even if you don't want to become a contractor, you can still do this quiz. And it will help you understand how you can do the practical business running side of things. It's not going to give you an idea of what to sell. That's up to you. That's where you come into the mix. But it'll at least keep you compliant. Make sure you know how to look after people, look after the compliance, look after the tax and all that kind of thing. So head on over there and it'll send you that report. Identify those gaps, and then you can come and ask us some sensible questions about how to get over those problems. So as always, thanks for listening, and if you've got any questions, bung them in the comments down there and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Have a great day. See ya.